Today's Wednesday, March 8, 2017. You're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Scooter Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today, www.eesf.org.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It is great to be here. Yes, it is. It's March 8th, Wednesday. It is show number 461. And if you are tuning in for the very first time, my name is Tom Seibert, and I am the host, producer, creator, the guy that takes the garbage out, makes coffee for the Elevator Radio Show. This is a show that I put together each and every Wednesday morning at the crack of dawn. And if you are just stumbling upon us for the very first time, we hope you become a listener and come back each and every week. There's many ways that you can tune into the show. iTunes, there's an iTunes uplink for the audio portion of the podcast uploaded every Wednesday morning. That might take a day or two to get up online and available for download by iTunes. They have some kind of like delay on that. Also on Facebook, go over like our Facebook page and you can get the video and also the audio feed each week when the show has been posted and is live and in the can, as they say. So it is good to be here. I am tired as always, and that's not necessarily a bad problem to have, but unfortunately the show articles that I pulled up just got kind of bad. So not a feel-good show by any means, and we'll get into those in a little bit. I am proud of myself. I did get my registration in for the Elevator Safety Summit, also for the IAEC, Elevator U. I think the only thing I have not been able to register or take care of yet is the NAC conference, but I'll get to that probably in the summertime or last minute. And unfortunately, won't be able to attend SECA due to just June being packed with all sorts of stuff going on. So make sure you get your confirmations, your registrations in for all of those events. I encourage you to check them out. Links are in last week's show notes. I'll also post something separately about some of them as the weeks progress. So just get them in. Don't wait till the last minute, and make sure they're on your schedule so you can attend. They're all going to be good events as always. So that's pretty much it. Hey, thanks to everyone. Just real quick before I get into the news content, thanks to everyone who has sent me emails asking how my wife is doing. She's doing much better. Thank you very much. She's able to kind of move around without two crutches now. So she's getting around with one crutch and sometimes with just on her own weight. And next week she's supposed to have load-bearing weight on her leg. And for those of you wondering what the heck I'm talking about, my wife had surgery 3.5 weeks ago on a tear in her hip, and that she's been dealing with for a long time, but she's doing much better. And next week she should be driving. Actually, I got to leave today for, probably about 4 o'clock to pick her up from physical therapy. So thank you for thinking about her. It's greatly appreciated, and I do share her, your get well wishes with her when I get home, and I appreciate that. So thank you. So up next, we'll cover the news for the last week as it pertains to elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. And we should have you out of here pretty quick. Not a ton of articles out there, but ones that were definitely, I wish I never had to read. So it's important that we hit home safety, whether it's in the workplace, whether it is on the equipment that we maintain, inspect, make equipment for, or whether it is, to the general riding public. Just do your part to make sure everyone's safe in what they do each and every day. So we will cover the news of the week next.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, the first news article, which is horrific. I'm going to play this. Let it
Cameras
play.
capture a desperate search to find a toddler's severed finger. This awful accident happened at the same busy downtown escalator where there was a deadly accident years ago, but no safety changes have been made. This is at the University Street station near 3rd Avenue and University.
New at 11, KIRO 7's Gary Horker has been live at the Metro bus tunnel this evening. And Gary, this happened when the little girl fell at the bottom of the down escalator.
Steve, she and her parents were just about to get off at the bottom of the escalator right here. She fell down, put her hand down, and her little finger was severed instantly. As we see, down at the bottom of that tunnel is where all the action took place. A fast effort gives doctors hope of reattachment, and we'll show you here why this escalator has been in the news before.
When I got the call, I just had to come quickly as I could.
As our camera was rolling, we could see escalator technician Justino Limon jumping down into an area below escalator steps to search for the severed finger of a 2-year-old girl. About an hour before this, the 2-year-old reportedly fell down just as the steps disappear into the lower level. Her finger was cut off in an instant. Justino actually found the tiny finger. He handed it to transit security, and Seattle paramedics raced down to put the girl's finger on ice.
It's a great feeling that I was able to recover that quickly.
Now, just last year, a Renton family received a $1 million settlement from Metro after a 38-year-old man fell, got his sweatshirt caught in the bottom of the same escalator, strangling him to death. We're told Metro did not make retrofits to this escalator because it met state code and has been inspected by Labor and Industries, and it's been deemed safe. Now, as the toddler's finger is raced to Harborview for reattachment, Justino points out all the safety signs for parents everywhere.
Definitely. There is instructions on the units that must be followed.
Back live here, Metro told us they put this escalator out of service until further notice, until it could be thoroughly inspected. By the way, a Metro spokesperson told me tonight, quote, "Safety is our top priority. This is a very unfortunate incident, and our thoughts are with the child and her family." And we're live from the Metro bus tunnel at 3rd and University. I'm Gary Horker, KIRO 7 News.
So that was, that's pretty bad. And for those of you listening to the audio portion of the podcast, the piece did cover and show the signs regarding how to ride escalators safely and correctly, no strollers, all that good stuff. So, those signs are small. They're not. It's not like they are huge, and I don't think, when you're getting on an escalator, you're not exactly going to look and see what those messages are. But if anything comes out of this, and again, I don't know, the article talks about a little girl falling. I don't know how old she was. I'm sure we'll learn more about that in the upcoming weeks, or whether or not, what exactly happened, or if it's just a freak accident where she was standing and then fell. But ultimately, let this be a lesson. I mean, to any parent out there that, with a toddler or somebody very small, fingers need to be up. They should never be down by, the stair treads, and make sure you're holding your child's hand at all times when you're on an escalator. So this is horrific. It's awful. It sounds as if it was a freak accident, but it's important that parents understand that this equipment is safe. It is as safe can be, and but at the end of the day, there's nothing that's going to stop what happened today. If there's no safety switch that's going to stop this big mechanical machine from doing what it did. One you have a little tiny, finger that's present. So and make sure and this is something I don't do. I'm actively involved with the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation, and as actually a chairman of it. And I don't think enough to share the word with, I do my best, but I just don't do it enough to share it with friends of little ones, those grandparents out there that have grandkids. And we got to get the message out. And the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation, EESF.org, has got some great programs online that I encourage you to share. Please share them with whomever you might have that has a young child or is involved with a young child's life, okay? Because this is pretty bad, and this is probably the first article or news article or show or piece that I've seen that has gone into as great of depth as this one. So anyway, next news article, WSPA.com reporting there's an elevator shaft. Okay, this is an accident that occurred. Let me go back here because I'm going to start playing. This occurred in 2015, and typically when you see an article like this, it is, in terms of the article covering the lawsuit that has been filed, it has to do with the time that you have to file a lawsuit, and so that's kind of why this comes into light. But the reality, and this is what I want to touch on, is that the elevator owner has the ultimate responsibility to maintain, to keep their elevator safe, and as much as they may not know anything about elevators or escalators, it is still their responsibility. So, as a contractor or as a mechanic, please share those situations or those projects that you feel are unsafe, that should be corrected, and and document it, put it in writing, and don't take on jobs that you should not, that you are absolutely aware of that have safety issues that. If you're not going to let one of your family members ride on it, I really encourage you to truly make sure that nobody else does as well. So that's really what I wanted to point on in this one, because it's an important lesson to learn. It really is. So yeah, and that was for a volunteer working on an elevator. Okay, closer by in Chicago, apparently on Monday, Chicago Tribune reports that a man was critically hurt in a fall down an elevator shaft at a West Side flour mill at an ADM plant. Oh no, don't want to watch that. Anyway, there's not a whole lot of information in addition to this, but flour mills that have flour are going to have stuff that's going to gum up, and that is a situation where and again, I don't know the particulars of this situation or this accident, and I don't pretend to be, that, but I just want to just point this out, that the jobs that I've been involved with that have had flour processing or moving facilities, flour gets everywhere. That flour stuff is pretty nasty and gets gummy. Mix it with a little bit of moisture in there, and you've got you got concrete. So, again, I've dealt with this on a few occasions where there are really bad environments out there for elevators, and the only thing that's going to make them safer is if they have increased maintenance schedules based on the material, the environment, and the amount of use that the elevator receives. So again, what's it worth to you in terms of a customer and making a customer happy and doing what they want you to do? But at the end of the day, is a lawsuit worth it? I mean, we all have insurance. We all have to have insurance, but it's still a pain in the ass to get deposed and have to deal with any of this stuff. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. So why don't we just cut to the chase and try to do our best to prevent them from happening? Okay, this is an uplifting story coming from Channel 12 KFV News. Phoenix Modular Elevator has had their grand opening in Mount Vernon, Illinois. So congratulations to them. And for those of you that weren't aware of what Phoenix Modular Elevator does, they put packages that elevator units in that go on the side of a building, kind of like prop up, and then you're good to go. Kind of a unique application. They've been doing it for a while, and they're good people to know and do business with. Next news article, I talked about this a few shows ago about driverless cars. And this one coming from PCMag.com. Human drivers could go the way of elevator operators, And I got to tell you, my wife has a car that has the auto lane sensing, deal, and then it also has the radar, which can when you're on cruise control, going at a certain speed, you could do this radar control function on cruise control where it will actually go faster or slower based on the car that's in front of you. And you know what the scariest thing is? I was playing with it over the weekend. I couldn't tell if it was working or not. So literally, I'm like, is it working? Is it not working? So I think cars have a long way to go as they become more like an elevator. I mean, elevators got a lot of safety devices and sensors and feedback that a car doesn't really have, or maybe it does have, but the real world around it cannot be changed to the point where you can rely on it 100%. Because literally, I'm like, I was trying to get the car to kind of drive by itself, and it's not like a Tesla or anything like that. It was just, it's just trying to make sure you don't drive off the road. You know, it's got the line monitor things, but it doesn't work all the time. So I'm like, God, what a false sense of security. So if driverless cars or the technology driving driverless cars is anything like the voice recognition of Siri or Cortana or the Amazon thing, I have no faith that driverless cars will take over the same way elevators did. But, it took a little bit of time for that to happen at the same time. But yeah, this thought has come to me as well. But, and I wonder, how long do you think it took for elevator operators to pretty much not be that common? Did it take a long time, do you think? Do you think it was like a 20 years, time period? I wonder how long that took. And I'm sure it wasn't overnight. I'm thinking probably 20 years, not before you saw them all go away, but where you saw a lot of them go away, I guess, as new buildings went in. Okay, next news article coming from Inquirer.net. And this is in Malaysia, apparently a woman, and love the overseas type of news coverage where they just show everything. This woman who looks as if, she's bleeding for sure out of her calf. If you take a look at the video, which is just a bunch of still images, there's a piece of the escalator side plate that looks like it was peeled away from the side. And later on, or in a news article that is relating to this, indicates the accident blamed on stroller misuse. Yeah, strollers shouldn't be on this kind of stuff, but I don't see the stroller anywhere, unfortunately, so I'm not really quite sure, but still not good. Remember, strollers should not be on on escalators at all. No trolleys if you're in the UK, and those baggage carts or anything like that. So, they're not intended for that. Okay, airports step up safety after trolley pileup. I'm not quite sure exactly what this was, but this was in Singapore. A bunch of signage talking about luggage trolleys. That's what they call them. And apparently the accident revealed an embarrassing instruction sign that provided wrong details on how to lock the trolleys on the moving stairways. It instructs passengers to press the handle down when, in fact, that unlocks the cart. Oops. All right. Well, anyway, I don't have a video of this, but I'm sure it's somewhere if you really want to find it. I really don't want to see a trolley pile up, and I'm assuming this is like a moving walkway that is inclined moving walkway. So, okay. Okay, next news article. Escalators catch fire. Motor actually started on fire, actually smoked. Love the ads. Did you not learn anything from AOL? Okay, Singapore, another incident. Escalator catches fire at Chinatown Point. 200 people evacuated. Man, the images of this, if you take a look, they're there. Man, scary as crud. When you take a look and see what an escalator motor looks like, there's actually a video here you can check out. Nobody was hurt, thank goodness, but yeah, kind of frightening. This guy's lucky, okay? And I'm going to just post it this way. I'm not sure why the Huffington Post is posting this other than just to get some press, but it's a video. Again, I don't know why the Huffington Post posts this. This is stupid. It's not even weird news, but maybe it relates to Good Friday. I'm not sure. Not Good Friday. Excuse me. Start of Lent season. That's what I should say. It says this: Jesus needs a minor miracle to ride an escalator. Now, this is a guy carrying a cross that was made out of 1x4s, maybe 1x or 2x. No, not 2x4s. It would definitely be a 1x4. I'm thinking. And as he gets to the top of the escalator, this big cross gets stuck. It gets wedged between the escalator and the ceiling. If you want to see a horrific video, Google escalator accident with, wood 2x4 on YouTube, and what you're going to find is something awful. So this Jesus guy kind of basically is like jamming this thing up. In the video that I just talked to you about, that told you about to do a search on, this guy who has his 2x4 that gets it wedged in between the stairs and the escalator tread, the tread actually breaks. He falls into the escalator, and you can only imagine what happens to him. But again, talk about fake news. What the hell is this? This is not news at all. It's just something to get some ad revenue. And the last news article, which is I think a good thing, CBC News in Canada, Montreal, the STM Metro accessibility plan will mean more elevators and ramps. It's about time. It's surprising that we're talking about 2017. I was going to say 14. Yikes. They're talking about making 32 stations accessible to people with disabilities by 2022. Man, I'd be irate if I was somebody that required increased accessibility. That's unbelievable. So, and obviously there's some that think that the announcements of this are unreliable and question whether or not they may actually happen or not. But yeah, I think I credit the United States for having a pretty proactive Americans with Disabilities Act that has been kind of revamped from 76, and I think the last one was 2010 maybe or 7. I don't know. But it's just encouraging to see that at least our country is much more proactive in making sure that the world buildings are accessible to those that require increased accessibility. So, well, that's going to do it, everybody. I'm tired. I could use some breakfast, but I'm not going to get any. I actually got to plow into a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be done before a conference call this morning, which is totally fine. It's all good. And I've got about 3 hours. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, about 3 hours. 3 hours to get it done. And so make sure you are practicing safety each and every day, as I mentioned at the end of each and every program. Get signed up for those events out there that you may not have done already. And most importantly, have a good week. Have a great week. Think spring, and we will see everybody next Wednesday, or we'll talk to everybody next Wednesday. And that's it. All right, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.